You know, for decades, we thought we had the playbook for building a great company figured out. The rules seem pretty much set in stone. But according to legendary investor Ben Horowitz, the rise of AI hasn't just tweaked that rulebook, it's basically torn it up and thrown it out the window. He argues that the fundamental physics of the business world, well, it's completely changed.
And that quote right there, that's the core idea we're going to explore. I mean, think about it. It's a pretty wild claim, right? He's basically saying that everything we thought we knew from the software era, things like competitive moats, the role of capital, what talent even means, it's all fundamentally broken.
So, okay, that's our central question then. We're going to break down Horowitz's thinking into 5 key areas to really get a grip on this new reality. We'll cover everything from startups and VCs all the way to management and culture.
All right, first up, let's start at the very beginning, the startup. You know that classic David versus Goliath story? The idea that a small, scrappy team could take on a giant? Well, according to Horowitz, that old playbook has been completely shredded.
I mean, just look at the complete reversal of logic here. The old rule was this huge comfort for founders, right? It was the whole idea that, hey, 700 IBM engineers can't do what our small, focused team can. Your unique product, your special sauce, that was your defense. But in the AI era, poof, it's gone. We literally just saw this with Elon Musk's XAI. If you've got enough cash for data and computing power, you can catch up to the industry leaders in what feels like the blink of an eye.
And this quote, this just captures the new power dynamic perfectly. It's a brute force reality now. The game has totally shifted. It's not about elegant code anymore. It's a raw competition for data and GPUs. Your defensive moat isn't time, it's capital. Plain and simple.
So this new reality also creates a totally new kind of talent problem. See, building these giant AI models, it isn't some standardized science you can just learn in a university. Horowitz calls the talent alchemistic. It's more like an art. You can only really learn it by doing it at places like OpenAI or Google, where they have hundreds of millions of dollars to play with. And what that means is there might only be a few dozen people on the entire planet who truly know how to do it.
And that kind of scarcity leads to numbers like this, $100 million for one person. It sounds absolutely insane, right? But just think about it for a second. If you're building a company in a market that could be worth trillions, and there are maybe only 40 people in the world who hold the secret key, well, suddenly paying one of them $100 million, it starts to make a weird kind of sense.
Okay, so if startups need all this capital, how do you even fund them? Well, this huge change in physics meant that venture capital itself had to change. And there's really no firm more central to that whole shift than Horowitz's own, Andreessen Horowitz, or as you probably know it, A16Z.
See, A16Z didn't just play the old VC game, they completely rebuilt it for this new era. First, to win the most competitive deals, they built a service product for founders, offering actual teams for things like recruiting and PR. Second, while most VCs were famously quiet, A16Z went loud. They used aggressive content marketing to build a global brand and attract that super rare alchemistic talent. And third, they figured out how to scale by creating these small, super specialized teams for different sectors, like crypto or bio, all while sharing one big, centralized platform designed to help their companies dominate.
All right, so building these massive companies in this new world, it isn't just about the tech and the capital, it's about leadership. And for Horowitz, the most important lessons here actually came from Intel's legendary CEO, Andy Grove. And they focus squarely on the human element.
In this quote really gets to the heart of Horowitz's whole management philosophy. Knowing what to do, the concepts themselves, that's the part. He says it's simple enough for a middle schooler to grasp. The real challenge, the thing that breaks most leaders, is the psychological battle of actually doing it.
So what's the biggest psychological hurdle he's talking about? Well, it's confrontation. It's so common for young founders to hesitate. I mean, nobody wants to have that hard conversation, right? Nobody wants to make that painful reorganization decision because they're afraid of the conflict that's going to happen right now. But that exact hesitation, that desire to avoid pain in the short term, that's what can absolutely wreck a company in the long run.
And this whole focus on taking difficult actions leads us right into the fourth big idea, culture. Because for Horowitz, culture isn't about some inspirational poster you hang on the wall. It's not about your mission statement. It's about what you actually do, day in and day out.
And this table shows the key difference perfectly. Look, any company can say, we respect entrepreneurs. That's just a platitude. It's easy. But at A16Z, they actually had a rule, a $10 per minute fine if you were late to a meeting with a founder. That's an action. They don't just say they're dream builders, they make it a fireable offense to belittle a founder or a competitor on social media. The takeaway is simple. Culture isn't what you say, it's what you enforce.
Okay, so we've talked about the new laws for building the companies of the future. But what happens when the technology these companies create actually hits the real world? How does all this AI stuff actually change society?
To answer that, let's look at a really fascinating case study that A16Z was involved with the Las Vegas Police Department. So the challenge was pretty clear: high crime rates and really dangerous encounters for the police. The goal was to make policing safer for everybody: citizens, suspects, and officers. And the solution was all about technology, using drones that could get to a scene in just 90 seconds and AI cameras that could get rid of those dangerous errors you get from eyewitness descriptions. And the results were? Well, they were pretty stunning. Violent crime dropped by over 50%. Police shootings, they fell by nearly 75%. And the really interesting thing here is that this wasn't about some big policy debate. This was about using technology to make everyone, citizens and officers alike, dramatically safer.
But of course, this incredible power of technology, it has a flip side. Horowitz has a great analogy for it. He calls it the Kobe Bryant effect. Think about it. Before television, a basketball player could only make money from the fans physically in the arena. But TV gave superstars like Kobe a global audience, allowing them to earn exponentially more than anyone else. Well, AI is like that, but on steroids. It's the ultimate amplifier. It gives the creators of the very best products basically infinite leverage, which almost guarantees that wealth is going to concentrate at the very top.
And that leaves us with this final, really critical question. On the one hand, AI seems destined to amplify the inequality of outcomes, but on the other hand, Horowitz argues it could be the greatest equalizer of opportunity the world has ever seen, putting a super tutor, a lawyer, and a financial advisor right in everyone's pocket for free. The technology is here. The real question is, what kind of future are we going to choose to build with it?